Sup, Chaos72 here for another Chaos Toy review. Today taking a look at the DX Machine Hoodie and the DX Houdini Eyecon. And these came in a set. And this was the only way to get the DX Houdini Eyecon, which we will take a quick look at now. And is done in a somewhat navy, bluish purple type of plastic, and just general color to the form. Now, as we see up here, the sticker is significantly different than normal DX Eyecons. But that sticker's the same. That sticker's generally the same. Faces, very different. This has a very digital sort of effect. This has a very holographic sort of effect. And that does kind of carry over to these. But this is pretty much the same. But this sticker is closer to Boost and, slight spoilers, Necrom. Although this doesn't have the major glitter factor that those two icons have. So this is going to stand out a smidge compared to the other hero icons or luminary icons. Someone let me know what the official name of these icons are. Now let's pull out our Duraiba. Oh, and let's take a quick look at the face. It is a X, and as you can see, it is a Spectre since it does have the blue iris. An X pattern with chains and a padlock. And for the Omega Drive, it's broken chains. I want this on a Kiva icon stat. Henshin. And typical Alright, we've got enough, so let's do the henshin again. And no, this isn't dirt under my fingernail, this is paint. Sorry about that. That is, since I've gotten this stuff, I've been kind of painting them up, and the black seems to kind of stick around a little bit. So that's the icon. So let's take a look at the Machine Hoodie with the Spectre figure. Now I've taken the parka off because we're just going to kind of get straight into this, but let's put them aside for now. Now here we have the Machine Hoodie, and it's spelled H-O-U-D-I in the English romanization of it because Houdini and puns and wordplay, because Ghost is all about the wordplay. Now one thing you got to notice is this is painted, and we'll get into another place I painted, but this is not painted when you get it, like this chain here on, that I'm rubbing with my right thumb. But here's like the front. Now, this is a little bit big, but bikes in the gimmick line tend not to scale, like, at all. I mean, stuff like the ride vendor from O's and the mesh slinger. Usually if there's a gimmick attached, it doesn't scale well because, you know, it's got to it's got to contain a gimmick. And this bike is no different. I didn't just buy this, and I don't think many people bought this for the Houdini Eyecon, although I know some people who are all about the DX got it probably just for that. And that's fine. And we'll get into if it's worth, if there is some added worth to it besides just a snazzy new icon. So yeah, it doesn't scale too well. I mean, you can kind of just plop him down and he'll still kind of touch the ground. So just keep that in mind. If you're a scale fan, it's not going to do that. Now this hinge is also kind of a deterrent, but I don't mind it because I'm not going to display it in this mode. Now that leads me into my next thing. What do you mean, this mode? Yes, this thing has multiple modes, and what that is it becomes Houdini Damashi. There's a reason why it came with the icon. So to get into that, first take this off. Split the bike, which is very much like the Gattack extender and the Machine Winger from Wizard, if I'm not mistaken. But yes, this becomes the Parka Ghost for Houdini. Now you can technically have it in, you know, a Parka Ghost form, but there is no eyes in here. And also these chains are not painted when you get it. But it's a very easy, just grab paint marker. Where did I put it? This paint marker, $2 at your local Walmart, and get in there and paint, and it's not too difficult. So let's get into the transformation. Well, we kind of already showed it, but let's get Spectre into here. So you want to stand him up, and like a normal Parka Ghost, slide the Parka over him and make sure he's clipped in. And take your hood piece, open it up, and let's take a quick look at the hood. Kind of hard to see it, but it's the same face, but it's very hard to see, which is one complaint I kind of have. It's easier to see in person, but on camera it doesn't show up the greatest because of how dark it is. Then you just kind of peg it in on top after you place it on the hood, and then fold these little bits down for shoulder bits. So here we have the Houdini, well, Spectre in Houdini Damashi, and one thing you're going to notice when you get this in hand is that, oh, and also you want to, there's little pegs on the side here of the hoodie, and you want to just, there you go, and it secures them in a little bit better into the parka. Now one thing is because the bottom of these are rubber, there's some play there, and it doesn't really hold up weight too well. Now I kind of wish there was like a third leg that you could fold out or something, but there isn't. So one solution I've come up with is take something like this, stand it on top, and there you go. It's better supported. And you're probably going to want to do something like that because this thing does not stand up too well on its own. Like, it stands up, don't get me wrong, it's just it has a bit of a balance issue because of the nature of this. So it will stand, just don't try to wiggle it too much. And one other thing is there is a big gap between this and the back. I wish they could have closed it up a little bit more, but there really isn't a way to do that considering how it's designed. But speaking of design, you notice he's a bit wobbly, but you do have all the range of movement besides putting it back because you'll hit the back piece. But you do have all the posability because these shoulder pads do move out of the way. And in this mode, I'll show it off in the other mode. Sorry, he's a bit off camera. Fix that. And center him. Now, because you have all the posability, you can have him hold weapons, which I'll show once I take the wing pack off and show the other mode. And these still do spin, but he is a very nice looking figure in this, especially looking at him from the front. You could, in theory, pop this plate out, although there's a bit of a nudge or a crest in here of sorts. So you can't really do the pop the helmet, the faceplate out and pose him because this horn will clash into this or vice versa. But you can do, it's not going to look the greatest once you hit a certain point, but you can unpeg it and you can turn the head. But the problem is as you can see, the shoulder pads are attached to this. Now I kind of wish the shoulder pads and the helmet piece were two separate pieces, but this is a gimmick figure and it doesn't have the biggest budget. But it does do what it needs to do. Although my one complaint is sometimes getting the face to line up is a bit of a hassle. And don't worry, if you do support him, as long as you get it just the right amount of support, it's not going to fall over. And he is kind of leaning. I'll probably try to find something a little thinner. Because you can't really... The other thing I would have helped is having like a hinge there, but again, for like a $20 thing, can't complain too much. So if that isn't your thing, you can unpeg him completely. Fold this hinge in, and you can get a glider mode, much like the attack extender. There's little pegs right here, kind of outlining them with my finger. Holes on the bottom of his feet, and just kind of peg him in. Now I wouldn't lift him by this. I wouldn't lift this by the figure, since it's not the most secure connection, and he tends to kind of lean back. You good? All right, so if you got weak knees or weak ball joints, you may want to kind of plan ahead. Now, you may be thinking, well, you can pose him with weapons, and you may be thinking, well, why are you posing him with what is clearly Tutankhamun's weapon? Well, there was a scene when the wish was made, so to speak. I'm not trying to give too many spoilers, where Spectre uses the scythe mode of the gun hand. So if he's able to do it outside of Tutankhamun, in my mind, that means he's able to do it in any of his 4 forms. So you can do that. That option is there for you. So how do I rate this? If you're in it only for the DX Houdini Eyecon, like I know some people are, and they don't really care about the gimmick, and that's fine. I mean, you can certainly spend your more money on worse icons or just worse products in general. But with the Gasha Eyecon coming out soon, I mean, you don't have to wait too long to get your Houdini fix if you're just after the icons. But if you like the form in the show and you can kind of work around the issues of the toy, I can easily recommend this to you. So it's really up to you on what you want out of this. If you just want the icon and you don't care about DX, just wait for a Gasha or Candy toy. If you need the DX and you like the form, then it's an easy sell. But if you don't like the figure line or the gimmick, then maybe find a way to get something worked out with a friend or something. So thank you guys for watching, and in the comments below, let me know which is your favorite super form for our secondary rider. I'm kind of leaning towards this just because when I heard he was going to combine with the bike and I saw the images, I was sold because that just sounds like a cool thing, and it does work. Figure, it hits a few low points, but overall is a solid thing. If I had to choose a second, I would probably choose Ixa Rising from Kiva. So, thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you guys think of the form and your favorite super form for secondary riders, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye.